ready. This is going to be exciting.
And we got career starts up to go. Green flag is out and we're underway.
Just a few laps into this. Oh, the 37's getting loose. Oh, and he saves it. Oh, they're going 3 wide.
We've got a 5-way fight for the win of this race coming to 4 laps to go. He's gonna win it here in spectacular fashion.
It's playoff time. We are live from Bristol Motor Speedway for race 11 of the Cruisin Classics Premier Next Gen Series. It's been an incredible season thus far, and now we've narrowed it down to 12 playoff drivers, all with title dreams as the season gets into high gear. The best drivers in Goat Locker Racing are right here and about to test their mettle under the lights in Tennessee. This is race 1 of 2 for the gauntlet to the Elite 8. This is Goat Locker Racing, Cruisin Classic Premier Next Gen Series, right here, right now, on V-Speed, your #1 source of online race coverage. I am Ken Huber, and tonight, I am so lucky to be having Daniel Cunningham alongside me, Eddie Smith on production, and Dougie Beard providing the cameras for tonight. Welcome back there, Daniel, for a Wednesday night race.
Yeah, I am glad to be back up here in the booth. Been out there on the track a little bit this season. It's fitting that we are at Bristol because, to quote Kyle Busch, as far as these next-gen cars, I'll be honest, I can't stand to drive them. They suck. I love Bristol, though. I'm glad to be up here in the booth. Don't let my view of the car adumbrate how this night is going to go, though, because we are in for a great night of racing with these Premier Series drivers.
Yeah, and I'm so glad we're kind of at Bristol. I'm glad to see that Bristol is back to being a bottom feeder track. Speaking of that, we got the graphic up there. Bristol Motor Speedway bills itself as the world's fastest half mile. And despite the straightaways only being 200 yards long, it's a very fast racetrack. These guys are going to be getting around this place, the 30 degrees of banking, in about 14, 15 seconds. So they're really cruising around here. And like I said, the groove for these cars right now are on the bottom, I think, as tires wear. You might see some guys maybe drift up to the middle, but that's what we're looking at here tonight.
Yeah, this is definitely, it's one of my favorite tracks on iRacing. I absolutely love this place. Always puts on a really good show. But like you mentioned, this is race #1 of the playoffs here tonight. We do have our playoff bracket there showing you the 12 drivers that made it. We got Jeremy Gardner, James Silvers, Patrick Drabick, Tyler Justice, Logan Threlkeld, Levi McCarty, Chance Taylor, Timothy Wilms, Wesley Burke, Barrett Morton, Jamie Lipke, and James Kaufman are your 12 playoff drivers. And actually, I think there was an adjustment that Tyler Justice yielded his position because he'll have to miss some races, and Tyler Evans was added to that playoff field. So we'll keep an eye on those drivers. We still got our non-playoff drivers here as well that we'll spotlight throughout the evening. But as for these drivers, they've got their qualifying runs finished up, and it is time to go through the grid here.
Yeah, let's talk about our Jam Printing and Promotion Pull Award Since forming in 2013, JAM has contributed printing and promotional sponsorships to more than 60 local nonprofits with a primary focus on organizations that assist veterans, women, and children. They have been with Goat Locker since the very beginning, local and veteran certified. When they do well, they do good in the community. And look at that. Who we got on pole tonight is Wesley Burke, and on his outside will be James Silvers. He's got 2 race wins on the season. On the inside in P3 will be Levi McCarty with Jeremy Gardner on his outside in P4. Chance Taylor will start P5 with Barrett Morton on the outside starting P6. Patrick Drabick P7. Travis Gilbert will start P8. Logan Threlkeld will start P9 with Corin Smith starting in that 10th position.
Starting just outside the top 10 is going to be Jacob Ellingson in that 11th position. James Kaufman to his outside in 12th. Rolling off in P13 is going to be Alex Cruz. Timothy Wilms in the 14th position. Starting in 15th here this evening is Bobby Bender, and we want to give him a special shout out. Today is his daughter Savannah's 12th birthday. See, he's got her on the car there. Got some of her birthday wishes and everything on there. So want to give her a special shout out as well. Really cool paint scheme that he's got on there tonight for her. We hope you're watching, Savannah. Hope you have an absolutely amazing birthday as well. And hopefully Dad can bring home a good finish here for you this evening as well. Starting to Bobby's outside in the 16th position will be Jamie Libke in car number 16. Starting in 17th, Tyler Evans. Charles Abert rolls off in the 18th position. Rounding out the field here this evening, Jamie Barkis in 19th, and Chuck Pegleg Phelps will start in 20th.
What a field we're going to have here tonight. Like I said, all these guys racing the first race of the championship series, and this is one of 2, and next week we'll be at Texas. You're looking there at the race analysis there. 110 laps tonight, 50% fuel, so that'll be interesting. A pit road speed of 35 miles an hour, 4 sets of tires available to these guys. No quick repairs. They'll have 2 green-white checker attempts. And this, by the way, is the dual pit road entry, so they will be able to choose their own line onto pit road, which can be exciting as well.
Yeah, it is definitely going to be a good one here tonight. I like that we're doing the dual pit road layout as well. See these drivers rolling off for the pace laps here. You know what, Ken? I'll be honest. I don't know if this is normal for you and Jake when you're up here in the booth together. What do you say we do a pre-race pick here tonight? I know who I'm going to go with, you know, at the risk of putting the commentator curse on somebody up here now that I'm off the track and in the booth. Give me that 0-4 car of Wesley Burke. Might be the low-hanging fruit, but I feel like he is due to break through for a win here in this Cup Series.
Well, I got to tell you, that's a good pick and a smart pick, but I'm going to pull the 0 off that car, and I'm going to go with the 4 there on the outside pole there. I'm going to go with James Silvers. I like that driver all season long. Has managed to grab 2 victories this season, grabbed the first race of the season, I think, last week as well. So he is he's running strong, and this is he's in his momentum building as we speak. Anyway, I think
for the front row.
Yeah, I think the pace car is about to duck off on the pit lane here. We're about to send him green flag racing. Wesley Burke is going to lead us to the green flag. They're headed into that extreme scoring restart zone, and Silvers gets a nice jump there on the outside, able to pull almost clear Wesley Burke. And you see Silvers up high and does make that pass, so gives Silvers the lead at the moment.
Yeah, James Silver's got a really good launch there on the initial start of the race, able to take that lead, and he will lead lap number 1. Levi McCarty now into the 3rd position. Jeremy Gardner 4th. Chance Taylor, your top 5 here early on. And you see there, Wesley Burke kind of tried to stay offset of that 4 car of James Silver. So find a little clean air. But yeah, there goes Drabick around. He saves it though, down to the inside of the track. Little loose there on corner exit, and Tyler Evans into the wall directly in front of him.
Yeah, we're still under green, but Tyler Evans just pulls a header off onto the outside retaining wall there. You can see as we ride along there with Patrick Drabick, we're going to take another look at the 77 machine. Well, actually, the first incident, now we're under caution.
Oh, no, the 0-4 of Wesley Burke is around. Oh, man, you want to talk about open mouth insert foot as far as the commentator curse goes. Good grief almighty. The driver that started on pole Sounds like there may have been some contact between he and James Silvers. We'll take a look here on the replay. Oh, good night. That was, they were trying to avoid the 77 of Tyler Evans, who had stopped on track. iRacing did not throw the caution. And then, yeah, I mean, just all hell breaks loose from there.
Yeah, you can see Patrick Drabick down there. So he hits the outside retaining wall and then brings it down. And I think he thought there was going to be a caution coming out. Didn't come out. And one of the things that you have with these cars here at Bristol is you can't see when you're coming up on those cars. You see the two leaders come up, and Silver's backing out of it. And I think he just didn't expect Wesley Burke to be there. Nails Wesley Burke. Wesley Burke goes into the outside wall. But that's one of those situations. You're sitting in the cockpit, you're looking at it here. You really can't see when you're in the corner what's ahead of you. And so they're coming around the corner here as we ride. It just pops up. You see that Silvers just takes immediate avoidance there to avoid that 77 car and then catches Wesley Burke.
Yeah, that is unfortunate. And that 100% looked like a hardware issue for Tyler Evans. Just the way that the tires were locked. I mean, he didn't even turn getting into turn number 1 there, just straight up to the wall. That looks like an iRacing crash or a steering wheel freezing up or something to that effect. And I mean, it's just unfortunate that it ended the way it did for some of these drivers. But if you guys going to come down pit road, take this opportunity to get some fuel in the car. You can see the 16 of Jamie Lipke's hitting pit lane. Looks like, I believe that was the 15 of Barkus as well that had come down pit lane there. So a couple of these drivers taking a chance to come down and top off the tanks right here.
Yeah, I mean, if we keep getting caution flags too, one of the situations that these guys have, only a 110 lap race, they can go about 80 laps on a tank of fuel. So riding around under caution like this is definitely going to save fuel and crank off laps here at Bristol. Time goes by fast. A small little half-mile track, it really knocks it out with top speed and lap time. So that's probably what those guys are thinking. Get that car topped off. They have a few more cautions, might be able to run that thing all the way to the end.
Yeah, it is a possibility depending on how it works out here. And see a new second place driver, Levi McCarty, sporting the Bobby Labonte Interstate throwback now on the front row. You got Jeremy Gardner and Chance Taylor in the second row. Barrett Morton now up into 5th as we get ready to go back green here at Bristol.
Barrett Morton's about to hit the extreme scoring restart zone, and we're about to go green flag racing once again. Silvers with a nice little jump there, able to outpull McCarty going into turn 1. They're side by side just behind him. Jeremy Gardner clears the third place car there, the 14 car of Taylor, I believe, Chance Taylor that is, and they're 2 by 2 just behind Taylor.
And Levi McCarty doing a nice job hanging with the 4 of James Silvers. We've got this side by side here. That is Barrett Morton on the bottom, Travis Gilbert up on the top groove. Gilbert able to take that spot away, and now Jake Ellingson putting some pressure on the 9 of Barrett Morton as well. Looking to the inside here, 9 car got a little bit loose there on corner exit. I think that's something we are going to see throughout the evening. First time that these Cup cars in Goat Locker have raced at Bristol with the 750 horsepower and the low downforce. I think these drivers are going to be fighting that handling all night tonight.
Drabick moving up a position right now on the 25 car. You can see Drabick on the inside of James Kaufman now. It's going to clear that machine. Yeah, you're right, Daniel. Out there driving these cars, you got to be very careful on that accelerator pedal, especially if you're, say, mid-corner or higher. If you pull that car down and you're full throttle, that car will come around on you. So these drivers have to be extra careful here, depending on where they're at on the track. As we're looking on board here at Barrett Morton, just in front of Patrick Drabick here, as they get around this track. And so Drabick taking a little bit higher line there, and I think that's just for visibility reasons, but trying to find another way around to get by Barrett Morton here.
Yeah, a little bit of visibility, a little bit of just trying to keep any clean air on the nose of that car that he possibly can. Something that we've heard drivers talk about. It's been talked about in various Discord chats, just how aero sensitive these next-gen cars are. Even at the short tracks with the higher horsepower, you've got to find any clean air you can. You just can't really ride directly in somebody's wake. You play a lot of aero games with that as well. As you can see Barrett Morton moving around a little bit, trying to keep some clean air on the front of his car as well. Back up here at the front of the pack, Levi McCarty was about a half second back of James Silvers, and he has closed that gap. He's right there with him. Now, the difficult part with everybody kind of migrated to the bottom is how do you get around it? How do you set it up? But he's going to look to the outside and try to generate that run. Almost contact between the two of them.
Yeah, and that's Levi McCarty's favorite move there is that outside lane. I remember him talking about it. He does a lot of practice on that outside lane, and it certainly paid off for him in a lot of different races. So Levi McCarty does know how to get around the outside, but these cars are extremely difficult here at Bristol to get the power down on corner exit when you're on the high side. But as these tires wear off, I think you'll see Levi make a maybe more of a valiant attempt, maybe in another 10 or 20 laps here. He's going for it right now as I speak.
Yeah, I got to give him credit. He's at least trying it. You know, again, going back to what we talked about, you can't just really ride in somebody's wake and expect to be able to make anything happen. Levi tried to search around a little bit, find some grip. He's doing a great job. He is right there on the back bumper, and every time that Silvers misses that bottom just a little bit and doesn't wrap that yellow line, it's allowing McCarty to close in just a little bit more, and you can even see it there. Silvers looks like he's struggling for grip right now, dancing a little bit there on the exit of turn 4.
Yeah, and I think the problem with Silvers is he's got a really low entry and early entry into the corners, and so you're giving up some time in the center of the corner, and that's where McCarty is getting them. And right now, got a battle for the lead side by side. McCarty up high on that top lane. He's going to get some momentum on the outside. Silver's going in low, trying to keep that position away. Now, Silver's got a little bit of advantage here. Who's going to have the advantage on exit? Looks like McCarty is going to take the lead and send it down low into turn 1. But no, Silvers fights back on the inside. Going to try to hang on to the lead here, get it back.
Yeah, Silver's doing a great job hanging with him, and now as they approach the lap car of Tyler Evans, that is going to hurt the battle for the lead as far as Levi McCarty's efforts go. Probably the best shot that he's had at it so far, but the lap car plays a factor there. We're back to single file. We've got a new player up in the 3rd position. That 44 of Travis Gilbert has been showing a lot of speed here, made a couple of passes up on the high side of the track, and he is now right there on the back bumper of Levi McCarty trying to take away the 2nd spot. And back behind them, you've got Jeremy Gardner, Jake Ellingson, Chance Taylor. I mean, these guys have been going at it for quite a while now.
Yeah, and that 44 looks really strong. 44 almost got into the back there of Levi McCarty, had to back it off. That almost allowed Gardner to attempt to pass there, but now you can see the 44 there of Travis Gilbert trying to go around the outside the same way Levi McCarty did earlier, seeing if he can make that outside groove work in these next-gen cars. And right now he does have the advantage. McCarty's going to let him have it, just backs out of it. I think McCarty's cooling his tires there a little bit, going to back it off, and now he's going to be looking at Jeremy Gardner back in his rearview mirror.
Well, the one thing I really like about this line that the 44 is running when he's up there on that 2nd groove is he's not really doing like the old Gen 6 diamond move that you would see where you kind of let it wash up to the very top of the track in the middle of the turn and then turn down on exit. He's only running about a groove up the track compared to how some of these other guys are running. You kind of see McCarty doing that back behind like the old Gen 6 line where he'll let it wash up a little bit more so over in 1 and 2 and then try to turn it back down on exit. And that line just doesn't work as well in this next gen car. It doesn't like a lot of that steering input. So Gilbert has found something that these other guys have not yet utilized up on that high side. It'd be interesting to see if he can use that to get around Silvers and mount a challenge here. He's already up on the back bumper of that 4 car.
Yeah, and doing a great job with that. I'm wondering about Levi McCarty when he ran that upper groove for several laps that he didn't just overheat his tires. It looks like he's starting to come back into the picture right now, but we got a battle for the lead with Travis Gilbert trying to look on the outside once again of that 4 car. So the 44 and 4 car are duking it out here. You can see Travis Gilbert now on the outside, and it is a hard thing, but he's going to have momentum. He might be able to beat him to the inside there. He's going to force the 4 car up high and try to use that low line, but now the 4 car is going to use that momentum and hang on to the lead for now and get back down to the bottom.
Yeah, really good battle here between these 2 drivers. Silver's on the bottom. You've got Travis Gilbert up on the high side, 4 versus 44 through turns 1 and 2. Gilbert trying to utilize that momentum up on the high groove. He's not quite clear yet, If he can carry that momentum off of turn number 4, he is able to, and we have a new leader, and that is Travis Gilbert, able to get around Silvers there. And now McCarty starting to close back in on Silvers as well, having to deal with a little bit of dirty air for the first time in quite a while here. Already 36 laps into this race, and Silvers has been up front for the majority of it here.
Yeah, he finally had to surrender that lead, and now he's got Levi McCarty putting pressure on. Levi McCarty now looking to the inside of that 4 car. So the 4 car is starting to maybe struggle here a little bit with tires. Maybe that right front is a little hot. Now Levi McCarty going to look to the outside. And I think, Levi is saying, well, now I got to go again, because Gardner was approaching him, that 57 car, just behind Levi McCarty. I think Levi seen that 57 approach and said, oh, I got to go. And there's a 77, the lap car that we've seen of Tyler Evans, kind of present a problem there once again for Levi McCarty. Had to back out of it. And Levi McCarty will have to reset here. But Jeremy Gardner, I think he's just looking back there and watching these guys fight it out. Gardner's very good at controlling his tire pace, so we'll see what he does. But Travis Gilbert also in command of this thing at the moment.
Yeah, and now that Jeremy Gardner's been able to catch up to that battle, got a little bit of a rivalry between those two. Got a rivalry here between these two as well with Ellingson and Chance Taylor. They've had a couple of run-ins here this season. And, it's just funny how it always seems to work out that the guys that I don't want to say they don't get along or don't like each other, because at the end of the game, at the end of the day, it's just a sim that we're playing here. But maybe not the biggest fan of each other's driving style. And here we are at a short track at Bristol, and you find yourself right next to that driver. Racing cordially so far. No contact between the two of them or anything of that nature, but there's just a little bit of extra motivation when you're right there with that driver that you've had a couple of incidents with throughout the season.
Yeah, we're back up front here watching Gardner now work on the outside of the 4 car of James Silvers. Now, Gardner stepping up the pace. It looks like Silvers might have abused those tires a little bit early in this race, and now he's going to fall back to 4th. It looks like Gardner's got the advantage there on the outside. Will just about have him clear, not quite. Going to take another corner here on corner exit. It looks like that 57 does clear Silvers, so Silvers now finds himself in the 4th position, the same as his car number there. So Silvers dropping back a little bit right now as this race progresses rather quickly as we're lap 45 into this thing.
And laps clicking away pretty quickly here this evening. Already getting close to that halfway point for tonight. So what do you say, Ken, since we're getting close to the halfway point, things have kind of settled out a little bit. Let's give a shout out to one of our league sponsors, and that is the Indiana Department of Veterans Affairs. And Indiana Department of Veterans Affairs is an agency focused on assisting Hoosier State veterans, service personnel, and their families in obtaining state and federal benefits. They work with a network of certified county veteran service officers to provide no-cost assistance with information and paperwork preparation. We appreciate all of their support here with everything at Goat Locker Racing. And of course, right as soon as I say that everything's kind of settled out for a moment, we have a change for the lead. Levi McCarty able to get around the 44 of Travis Gilbert and take control of this race. Maybe Gilbert utilizing that high lane just a little too much, maybe burned his tires up just a bit. As Levi was able to close in rather quickly, goes up to the high side here. See on the replay, able to generate a pretty good run. Close right in on the back bumper of that 44. And using that move, kind of like you talked about earlier, Ken, he likes to go up there, work that top groove, and makes a lot of passes up there and able to complete this one for the lead.
Yeah, I was going to say you did that sponsor read at the perfect time for that battle for the lead as we watch Gardner work on Travis Gilbert right now on the inside, trying to move up his position to 2nd. But you were doing that sponsor read, and I was thinking to myself, well, you're not talking about a lead change, so that means you're not out there jinxing the drivers. So I'm sure Levi McCarty was very happy that you were doing a sponsor read during that pass, because bad things were probably going to happen. As you know, your 04 machine, I think, is still struggling out there, trying to get back there. Wesley Burke currently running in the 11th position. So he can still beat my driver of the 4 machine, but he's still got his work cut out for him for the rest of this race. As we're looking forward there out of Jeremy Gardner's machine, looking up, just has got Travis Gilbert just ahead of him. He's trying to work on going to the outside. You can see Levi McCarty there in that Interstate Batteries machine just ahead of these two. But Gardner trying to find a clean way around. It looks like Gardner isn't pushing the issue. I think he knows, not to push these tires. He's going to get trapped up a little bit there. We're under caution.
Oh, a few drivers involved. Kaufman involved. It looked like Tyler Evans was in the wall. I believe it was also the 96 of Bobby Bender got caught up in that as well. A couple different drivers there. It's going to put us under caution right at the halfway point here this evening. And we're going to take a look at this one on the V-Speed instant replay. That is the loose on exit that we've talked about, and poor Corinne Smith had absolutely nowhere to go. The Captain Crunch car getting crunched a little bit there on corner exit, and that was an entirely separate incident, it looked like, that got the 77 and the 96 as well.
Yeah, I could have swore the 04 was involved in that as well. There's we ride on with Captain Crunch there. So, there we go. Yeah, the 77 once again finds some more contact with the outside wall. Not sure who that was that got into the 77 there. I thought that was Wesley Burke.
I believe that was the
90s, or 96. Excuse me.
Yeah, that is the 96 of Bender.
Yep.
There, and this was all just a result of the initial incident. They're all kind of checking up, trying to miss that wreck. You see these guys coming up the track, just can't see anything. Bender takes an evasive maneuver, moves up the track. 77 was there. Not a whole lot that either of those drivers could have done in that instance to avoid that one. You can't just plow into the driver stopped on track. So unfortunate set of circumstances, and that gives most of the field a chance to come down pit lane here. Go ahead and take advantage of this stop. And Levi McCarty was the first one off of pit road. It's showing Charles Abert as the race leader. I don't know if he might have stayed out, or no, he's on pit lane now. Beg your pardon. So
yeah, he missed his pit box, and I think the timing and scoring got a little bit off there, Daniel, and so Charles Abert had some issues there on pit road. But yeah, some tough break there for one of our championship contenders there, just in that 25 machine of Kaufman there. James Kaufman just ahead of our leaders there. So some struggles out there for some of these drivers. But while we got another break here, why don't we talk about another one of our sponsors, and maybe they can get some things put on their fenders that are crinkled up. But Zach Graphics. Zach Graphics' goal is to be your preferred source for signs, embroidery, silk screening, promotional products, trade show displays, and other graphics. Zach Graphic takes the headaches out of promoting your business or organization image by providing one-stop shopping for all your graphic services. We believe the best way to achieve this goal is to be in meaningful relationships with our customers, and that is Zach Graphics. They can put your design on almost anything. So anyway, as I was saying there, Daniel, so it looks like James Kaufman has got the wave around there, so he'll stay on the lead lap, it looks like. So lucky for him, but he's got some traffic to get through if he's going to make his way back up. But as a pace car pulls onto pit lane, we're about to send him green flag racing. Levi McCarty chose the outside lane, is going to get a great start there over Jeremy Gardner, who is on the inside. Silver's now back up to the third position.
We got a car around in the back of the pack. It looked like there was two different spins. Chance Taylor went around in one incident, and I think it was the 25 of Kaufman trying to catch back up, or it may have possibly been Charles Abert. Both of those cars painted kind of similarly with the black and yellow color scheme on them. But the big one there, one of our playoff contenders, the 14 of Chance Taylor, was involved with that one. As we go back and take a look here, and it was kind of hard to tell from that first angle if there was maybe a little bit of rivalry contact there. Let's go back and take another look at this from the onboard of Jake Ellingson. Just talked about it a little earlier, and it might have been a little net code, but I think there was definitely something there. And then also the 07 and the 9, Drabick and Morton get together there. And I think there may have just been a little bit more contact between the 14 and the 27 under caution here. I think there may have been a driver that wasn't happy about the way that turned out. But there is a lot going on this caution.
Well, we're at Bristol, and I guess, it's pretty common to, let's say these drivers, I guess you could say that they have issues. So it looks like we got a car out there with a meatball flag for damage. This is Jacob Ellingson. So Jacob Ellingson in trouble right now, is going to have to come down and get that car repaired. I'm not sure. That seemed like pretty minor contact, but
I think we're about to see the cause of the meatball here. And
oh,
shades of Matt Kenseth and Joey Logano. He didn't just take the guy out. He junked him and made sure that his night was over after that.
I can't believe that this just happened. So there, as we're riding on board with Chase Taylor there, you can see him just pull down and run right into Jacob Ellingson. So I'm sure our racing officials are going to have some words for both those drivers after this race. But one of our championship contenders, that 14 car, Chance Taylor, is already in trouble the first race of this playoff series.
Well, I can tell you one thing, Ken. I wish upon everything that iRacing would add a helmet throw button, because we would have just seen a Tony Stewart helmet throw at this thing if it was an optional in here. I ain't trying to make light of the situation, but damn, you got tempers flaring at Bristol here this evening. It's Bristol, baby. It's living up to the hype here this evening.
Yeah, and I was kind of surprised because it looked like, Chance just didn't give Ellingson really shoved it into the corner, but he was still up a line. So, that's I guess those guys are going to have the disagreement, but the lights are out atop the pace car. Levi McCarty has chosen the outside lane once again over Jeremy Gardner down there in P2. We are in the extreme restart zone, and we are green flag. Levi McCarty with a great start there. Gilbert now putting pressure on the outside of Jeremy Gardner in that 57. Can Gilbert get by here in the next lap or two? Going to run him down, trying to get back up to that second position. Got James Silvers in weight there just behind those two drivers.
Yeah, Gilbert and Silvers have shown a lot of speed on the shorter runs here this evening, whereas Jeremy Gardner so far has had a little bit more long run pace, but the 44 into the wall. Maybe, that might have been enough to put a little bit of suspension damage on that 44 car. He has already dropped back to the 6th position, and what was a very promising night starting to unravel here for Travis Gilbert. Let's go back and take a look on the replay here. You got Gardner to the inside, the 44 up on the top side. Little door bang there down the straightaway. Get over here into the turn, and that wasn't anything on the 57 car. Looked like he just got a little loose on entry there, chased it up the track and got into the wall.
Yeah, it almost looked like a cut right front, but I know we don't have that because he's still on the track. But that's the thing about these next gen cars, and especially here at Bristol, you got to be very careful on cold tires, and these guys don't have those tires warmed up. And we got another incident. We're back under caution, it looks like, and looks like Jamie Lipke involved there. So Jamie Lipke, with another night where she's struggling out there, has contact with another car out there. We're going to go back and take a look at the replay here.
Yeah, let's see how this one played out. Lipke there in the 16, and got Barkis and Wesley Burke right behind. Lipke up on the top side, and yeah, that wasn't contact. That was just good grief. Nextgen doing Nextgen things, snaps around on them in the middle of the turn there, and then James Kaufman gets into the 16 after they get around there. So even more contact after the fact.
Yeah, I think these guys, like I said, dealing with those cold tires, it bit Jamie Lipke there, and got Kaufman as well, another one of those championship contenders. Kaufman's night has just not been the best, not what he's hoped for, so he's going to have to really push hard here to try to make his way back up front. But while we're waiting here, why don't we talk about another one of our sponsors? That's MK Fire Design. MK Fire Design, man, what a great company that they work here with Goat Locker. They came on with this last season in the sports car series and decided to sponsor that series, but they're a great company, a veteran-owned company. I think it's a firefighter that owns that company, and makes great custom wooden flags, even made a championship trophy there at Phoenix, and a great company to have a part of Goat Locker Racing. So if you guys haven't checked them out, and those great custom flags that MK Fire Design makes, check them out and order yours today.
Yeah, they do some really awesome work. Once they came on board and started sponsoring the sports car series that we have, I went on their website, took a look at some of their designs, and man, they make some really awesome stuff. So if you've never checked them out, definitely give them a shout. Go take a look at their website. You'll see some really, really cool stuff on there.
Yep, so I'm just looking at the YouTube chat and still going off there. I think this is an old Jake thing that there's beef out there on the track, and you're right there. Looks like Lion Pride 360 out there talking about the beef on the track between Jake Ellingson and Chance Taylor there. But we are doubling them back up, and Levi McCarty once again there is going to choose that outside lane. But this time he's got a new contender up there. He's got the 4 car of James Silvers, has managed to work his way back up to that second position. We're only going to have 37 laps to go when we send him green flag racing once again. So they've got a short time now, so the window is closing in. Gardner's going to start P3 just behind them. Barrett Morton, another driver we haven't talked about too much tonight, is out there now in the 4th position. And of course, Patrick Drabick rounding out the top 5. And here we go back into the restart zone. And Levi McCarty gets another great start there. The 4 a little slow off the line. Gardner's going to try to push that 4 up. 4 gets back to the back bumper of Levi McCarty. Going to put some pressure on as they go into 3.
Yeah, and I'm not sure what happened to Barrett Morton there up on the top side, if he maybe had some tire spin or something, but he lost quite a bit of ground on that restart and has fallen back. He's back to the 5th position now, but he had fallen back to 6th momentarily. Battle for the lead, though, is on. Talked a little bit ago about that short run pace that Silvers has shown here this evening. He is putting it to good use right now. He is all over the back bumper of Levi McCarty, trying to work that top side, but gets into the wall. And you can see that puts some damage on the right front of the 4 car. And you can see it's all scuffed up there just looking from the back bumper of McCarty. So we'll see if that affects the balance of the car, maybe gets it a little bit tighter. But he is giving it everything he's got to try to get up there and take the lead of this race away from Levi McCarty.
Well, I got to tell you, both those guys just shot out to a tremendous lead over Jeremy Gardner. Jeremy Gardner still going backwards, and I feel like these guys are thinking it's like the last couple of laps of this race. Meanwhile, Gardner's just holding up the field right now. He's got Patrick Drabick just behind him, and I think these guys are just managing what they have, knowing that these tires wear out pretty quickly here at Bristol, letting those 2 guys up front duke it out and wear out their tires. I think we're about to see, I think, you know, when we got about 20 to go, I think Gardner will run these guys back down.
Yeah, and what Jeremy Gardner is probably looking at right now is you've got those 2 guys up there going full send, battling for the race lead. He doesn't have a lot of pressure right now from Patrick Drabick. He's just kind of maintaining that 3 to 4 car length gap. He knows that Pat kind of has to look out his rear view as well because he's got Barrett Morton right there. And you can almost kind of see it from Barrett's onboard. Wherever Pat is running, Gardner kind of matches that line, just keeps enough dirty air on the front of that 07 car to where he can't close the gap in. And he slowly but surely stretched it just a quarter to half a tenth at a time and just managing his tires so he can try to get up there and maybe take advantage of those top 2 racing so hard here early on.
Yeah, and that's just smart racing when you're doing stuff like that. And as a matter of fact, while you were speaking there, Gardner has pretty much held the distance there, so still 1.3 seconds back behind those guys. Just managing the gap, and it looks like that battle for the lead is kind of dissipated now as the 4 car starts falling back just about a half second off the lead of Levi McCarty. So we know that Levi McCarty likes to hang it out there. So Levi McCarty's going to do his best to gain as much time as he can and hope that Jeremy Gardner, if he does catch that 4 car, will have to battle that 4 car pretty hard, and that'll allow maybe Levi McCarty in the captain bird seat. But I can tell you right now, I'm seeing that 57 car start to close up the gap now, gained a 10th this last lap.
Yeah, I think this is the point where we'll start to see Jeremy Gardner putting some pressure on. Looking at the lap times, he was a 10th faster than Silvers, 10th and a half faster than McCarty the last time around. And yeah, you're right. I mean, these laps click off in a hurry here at Bristol, but still quite a ways to go, just over 20 laps left in this race. And still right there, almost a full 10th faster than McCarty. The biggest thing is when he gets up here to the 4 of Silvers, how long will it take for him to dispatch of that 4 car? He's definitely got the pace to catch him, but if he spends too much time battling side by side with him, that may be just enough to allow McCarty to get away from him.
Yeah, and I think he's thinking about that. He knows he's going to have to make a serious move here and pass that 4 car as quickly as possible. But you know, watching that 4 car, the 4 car is driving super aggressively now. He's hit the wall a couple of times. He does have that little bit of right front fender damage that you talked about that might be hampering his forward momentum as well, and that's why he's fallen off the lead. behind Levi McCarty. But Gardner now sizing him up, looking for that pass, and he's going to want to do it as quick as possible because these laps do wind down quickly as we are 20 to go next time by as the leader's crossing the start-finish line.
Well, and one thing I can tell you from my experience racing in this series earlier this season, Ken, that 4 car is not easy to pass. I mean, might as well slap a big 39 on the side of that thing in the SHR font, be like Ryan Newman out there. And that's not a knock on him. He just knows what to do, how to put his car in those positions to maintain the track position that he's got. He makes you work for every single pass. And, I mean, he's not just going to roll over and make this easy for that 57. So Gardner's got his work cut out for him. But if there's anybody that can make quick work, it would be that 57. And, I mean, they are actually both starting now to catch back up to Levi McCarty just a little bit. As McCarty navigating the lap car here of Tyler Evans is able to get around him pretty easily there. Gardner still trying to find a way around on the outside, but had to fall back in line as they navigated the lap car.
Yeah, Gardner trying to pick a spot there, running that a little bit higher line and then pulling it down to the bottom, see if he can get a run off the corner here. He's going to look to the inside of Silvers right now. Down on the bottom here, Silvers going to run it up high and try to get that momentum off the corner. Silvers with a big wiggle and slams it up into the outside wall. It isn't his first meeting with that wall. He's been all over it tonight. Going to cross the start-finish line here, still battling. You're right there, Cunningham. They're just doing it side by side here and not giving an inch there. That 4 car is just trying desperately to hold on to that position.
And surprisingly, Gardner was not able to complete that pass with the big moment that we saw there out of Silvers. I thought that might have been his opportunity, but now we're closing in on 10 laps to go in this race. Gardner has got to find a way around within the next couple of laps. Otherwise, I don't think he will have enough time to get up there and really mount a serious challenge for the lead. It's going to take a pretty Herculean effort to be able to do it. He's right there. He's got the nose on the outside. This might be what he needed to take that number 2 spot. He should have the momentum on corner exit. He's going to have 11 laps now to chase down the leader.
Now it's time for McCarty to start sweating bullets. He knows that looking at his relative there and knows that that 57 car got around James Silvers. So now how much equipment did Gardner use trying to get around that 4 car? But he is coming. I can tell he closed up another couple of tenths there on Levi McCarty. You can see Gardner running a little bit higher line than Levi McCarty. Levi McCarty came out of the green flag start there just with a barrel, just using up his equipment. Now, does he have enough to hold off Gardner?
Well, and I'm just saying, we talked about rivalries earlier. We saw how that worked out between 2 drivers that weren't exactly on each other's Christmas card list. These 2 drivers, I don't think they're the biggest fans of one another. They are definitely motivated to beat the other one. What better track to settle a little rivalry than right here at Bristol at the half mile? Gardner is quickly closing in on that 51. How hard is he pushing and how much is he burning up his tires? Is Levi maybe just pacing a little bit? You can see him moving up the track now, trying to take away the clean air of the 57, but he's got his work cut out for him.
This almost reminds me of the NASCAR days when Dale Earnhardt had Terry Labonte in his sights here at Bristol in the closing laps of the race. Remember the old little bump and run? So you're talking about rivalries out there. That Save 22 machine, that 57, is closing just to, oh, we're under caution. This is going to change everything.
The 07 of Trabic is around on the back straightaway. Caution flag is out. And it is going to be decision time for some of these drivers if they decide to come down pit lane here for what will be, in all likelihood, either a green-white checker or a natural green-white checker. Let's go back and take a look on the replay. Got Barrett Morton right behind, got Travis Gilbert closing in as well, and just a little bit of contact there, and then a little bit more contact between Morton and Trabic. Trabic getting the worst of that, goes around, and that is what puts us under the yellow flag. And, you know, I got to think here, Ken, if you're probably about the top 5, I don't think there's any way you come down pit lane, but we do see a few takers that are going to come down and try to utilize some fresh tires to gain some positions here on this final restart.
Yeah, you got 13 cars on the lead lap, so it looks like our top 5 at least have stayed out, like you said, and they're going to try to hang on to that track position. But tires do make a big difference here at Bristol. We'll see how this all shakes out, but going to have some traffic to get through. I don't think it's easier said than done, that's for sure. So some of these guys that have come down pit lane to get that service and maybe a little bit of a tire advantage, I don't know that there's enough time to do it based on who I've seen pit and who didn't. But, well, I guess we're all here to find out. What's really going to be interesting, though, Daniel, is these cars with the 750 horsepower package on these old tires, just getting the power down on these old tires for our top 5 or 6, that could be the struggle here tonight.
It very well could be. You know, we've seen that at these short tracks before where the tires spin with that extra power. Definitely is a thing. So, yeah, I'm definitely going to be interested to see how that is managed here by these leaders. And just for kind of a quick reset here, your top 8 all stayed out. Everybody from McCarty down to Alex Cruz in 8th, they are out on 50-lap old tires. Aside from Wesley Burke, he's got 36 laps on his tires, but everybody else 50 laps. And then Jamie Barkis was the first one off pit road with 4 fresh tires. He'll restart in 9th, Travis Gilbert in 10th. You've also got Drabick, Bobby Bender, Charles Abert here on fresh tires as well. So a bit of a mixed bag, but yeah, this is going to be a natural green-white checker. We go back green with 2 laps to go here, Ken.
Oh, what a shootout here at Bristol with the green-white checker. You know, I almost feel like there's probably going to be both green-white checkered attempts used here tonight. This is going to be a scary restart for both of our leaders there. You got Silvers now back there. Morton is back in this picture. Look at Logan Threlkeld back there in 6th. So a lot of drivers out here hungry to get a win. And here we go. Pace car ducks onto pit lane. They're in the restart zone, and we are green flag. Levi McCarty leads them out on the outside. Gardner spins the rear tires, able to hang on to 2nd, but those rear tires lit up on that low lane, and now we got a side-by-side just behind them.
But Gardner already closing back in on Levi McCarty. I thought that might be all he needed. It still might be all he needs. White flag in the air presented by Glove Station. 1 lap to go. Jeremy Gardner is there. He's looking to the inside. They're both sideways off of turn 2. One last shot for the 57. Does he throw the bumper? He sends it in on the bottom. He's not close enough. McCarty back to the line for the win as they wreck for 3rd.
What a finish. It looks like Silvers is going to hang on to 3rd there. So James Silvers there, you can see, got some damage on that car on that final lap of the race. But what a drive by Levi McCarty. Certainly made it exciting out there in that Bobby Labonte tribute skiing and that Toyota Camry. He is going to burn it down. He is locked into the Elite 8 here. So next week he can just, you know, maybe take it easy, but going to celebrate here tonight here at Bristol.
A very well-earned win for the driver of the 51. Like you said, what a good way to kick off the playoffs for him, sporting that Labonte throwback. Great looking car, but while he's burning it down, we're going to go ahead and take a quick commercial break, let him finish up his celebrations, and we will be right back with you to get a word from our top 3 finishers.
Superior quality, ultimate protection, and the highest level of craftsmanship. We make our gloves for the hard worker that wakes up every morning and gives 110%. You deserve the highest quality protective gear that's going to work for you day in, day out. We know it can be tough deciding what companies to trust for your hard-earned money. It's all in our name. We've mastered our craft to help you master yours. We make our gloves rugged, durable, and designed for you. Whatever the job is, we have you covered. We are your Glove Station.
A thriving job market and low cost of living, plus a wide range of veteran benefits, make Indiana the perfect place for veterans of the United States military to call home. InVets can help you find that home. We're an organization started by veterans to help former service members transition to civilian life in our state. InVets can help you find the community with the career opportunities, housing, schools, and amenities that fit your lifestyle. To learn more about InVets, visit us at invets.org today.
We are back live at Bristol, Tennessee with an exciting race. First race of the playoff season. Levi McCarty brings it home, locks himself in to the chase for the Elite Eight. Jeremy Gardner brings it home second. What a drive by those two drivers. You all seen it live here on V-Speed. James Silvers will bring it home, the top three there. We'll talk to all three of those drivers here momentarily. Barrett Morton has a nice finish there in P4. Logan Threlkeld wraps out your top five. Timothy Williams brings it home sixth. Wesley Burke seventh. Nice recovery for that driver. Travis Gilbert will bring it home eighth. And Jamie Barkus ninth. And Patrick Drabick P10.
Just outside the top 10, Bobby Bender, solid run for him, finishes in the 11th position tonight. Alex Cruz will bring it home in 12th. Charles Abert finishes in the 13th position. James Kaufman in 14th. Jamie Lipke in 15th after that earlier spin. Finishes in the 15th position. Tyler Evans, not the start to the playoffs that he was hoping for, finishes in 16th. Jake Ellingson, 27th. Chance Taylor, in 27th. In 17th for car 27. Chance Taylor in the 18th position here this evening. Chuck Pegleg Phelps finishes in 19th. And Corinne Smith rounding out your field in the 20th position.
Well, I'll tell you what there, Daniel, that was a great race. Why don't you talk to our race winner there? And let's find out what he did to get there.
Levi McCarty, this is Daniel up in V-Speed booth. You got me?
What's up, guys?
Well, man, you all put on one heck of a show here tonight. You get your playoffs kicked off with a win, get yourself locked into the round of 8. We saw Jeremy was starting to close in there before that final caution. What was going through your mind on how you were going to be able to keep that driver in the 57 behind you?
I think I was going to be all right if it went green there. I was kind of bummed to see the caution, just because I've made the wrong decision there so many times, and tonight I was just like, you know what, I'm not even going to come down and get anything. It wasn't even a question. Just stay out, and I think I would have been able to hold him off using the middle lane there. But he's definitely going to save tire and make a run at it at the end. So I was a little nervous for sure.
Well, one of the things we touched on throughout the broadcast was some different rivalries that we've seen this season between drivers. And we know that there's a little bit of a rivalry between yourself and Gardner. Does it make it that a little bit sweeter of a win when you're able to kick off the playoffs by beating that rival?
Oh, it does. And yeah, I'll be the first to I'm not going to deny. I don't like how he races sometimes. And, I'll be the one to stir the pot with him. So that disdain for each other is definitely there, and it's not going to go away. So we'll see more probably through the playoffs. But yeah, I gave a couple away to him this year. I remember 2 specifically that still are eating at me, but definitely feels good to close that one out tonight.
Hey, we like a little bit of drama up here in the booth. A little bit of rivalries makes for a great show and gives us a little bit more to talk about. But congrats again on that win, kicking off your playoffs in style here this evening. Before we let you go, Levi, who you want to thank or shout out for this one?
Lincoln Tech, Save 22. Thanks to Cruisin Classics for putting on this premier series. Indiana Department of Veteran Affairs, INVETS, ATYL, and thanks to you guys for an awesome show. This one I'll definitely enjoy and be able to go back and watch. Definitely the best iRacing broadcast in the business for sure. So thanks, guys, for everything you do.
Well, we definitely appreciate that as well. Congrats again on the win. See you next week at Texas.
Appreciate it, guys.
That's our race winner, Levi McCarty. Ken, I believe you've caught up with our second place finisher, Jeremy Gardner.
Jeremy Gardner, Ken Huber, you got a copy?
Yes, sir.
Hey, that was a great performance out there. You were kind of calm and collected all night. But then towards the end there where you needed to catch that driver up front of Levi McCarty, it looked like you had the tires to do it, but you had the 4 machine and then you had the caution. Why don't you talk about your race tonight?
Yeah, it was a fun race. I came in tonight kind of dreading it because you never know how Bristol's going to go. It's going to go good or it's going to go bad. I think for the most part, I mean, there was some cautions, but it really, honestly, wasn't that bad. Pretty clean racing. I just tried to mind my own business the whole race and let people fire off how they want to fire off. I wanted a good points night. I didn't want to come out of here with a DNF or whatever. So I want to be able to try to make next round.
So, I mentioned during the broadcast that the old days of Dale Earnhardt and Terry Labonte, when that race was closing down, I was thinking of you in that Daryl Earnhardt seat, maybe wanting to do the little old bump and run there. Was that on your mind if you could get to the back of that 51 car prior to that caution?
No, I was just gonna honestly just try to make it look, for a good finish. I mean, he ran a hell of a race. I knew he was gonna take middle high lane, and that bottom lane only does so much, especially once the track rubber's up. So it's only got so much turn and runoff. So I mean, that was fun there the last couple laps. I hate the caution flew because I was sitting there saving for the longest time, watching him and Silvers just go neck to neck, just going at it. So it was going to work out there, I think. But unfortunately, that last caution flew. I like to see how that race would have finished if it didn't. But good win to leave out tonight.
Absolutely. Well, you got you got your points tonight that you needed going into Texas. So another good finish at Texas will definitely get you in there. Who do you have to thank for getting you the second place finish tonight?
Yeah, Pat and Jamie at JLR appreciate everything they do for us, the veteran community. Jam Printing Promotion, V Speed, Alexander PCs, Cruisin Classics, GTR Simulators, my guys at Prestige Performance, Premier Racing Setups, and Cruisin Classics, the Nasties. And of course, you, Ken, Eddie, and everybody. I appreciate everything y'all do for the broadcast every week.
Well, there you have it. That was our second place finish, Jeremy Gardner. Look forward to seeing what he can do out of Texas next week.
And I'm
So,
standing
Daniel, I
by.
believe you're standing by with our third place finisher.
I am indeed James Silvers. This is Daniel. You got me?
Yeah, what's going on, man? You hear me?
Yeah, I got you, James. Well, man, you had a really good run tonight, led some laps. It seemed like you had a little bit better short run pace than the overall long run pace. Is that kind of what it felt like from the driver's seat, or what were you maybe struggling with a little bit there on the long runs tonight?
Well, I think I was kind of struggling because last time that we ran here, it was it was a 680 package, and the way that I ran the last race, I mean, I led every lap. Uh, Surprisingly, I don't know how I did, but came home with the win last time we was here. But I was trying to run the same line and same pace, and well, kind of backed it down a little bit more because I know we was going to have more horsepower, and I was kind of taking off towards the beginning of the race, and I was doing a good job keeping my pace, or I thought I was doing a good job. But once they ran me down a little bit, I realized I needed to kind of back it down even more on the next run. So I was like, well, we kept having them cautions fall into place, and then since I was being so close to the front, I could smell the front. So you know me, I wanted to go in up there and try to get it. So went out there and wore my stuff out a little bit. But I mean, to come home in third place right there, right towards the end, was a pretty good finish, though.
Well, yeah, you mentioned it. Really good finish to start off. Excuse me, start off the playoffs here. And, next week heading to Texas, just another good finish there should get you into the round of 8. How do you feel about your chances to advance into that next round after tonight's performance?
Well, after tonight, I feel pretty confident. I think with the crew chief and having Tyler there to help out and having him in the playoffs as well, the 77, that's actually a big plus. And congratulations to him for getting in. And no, I just got to keep my momentum rolling and just keep my concentration and just hope we can go out there and bring what we did this week and just do it again next week and maybe come up a couple spots better and try to put it in victory lane next week.
Well, still a really solid run. Good way to kick off your playoffs here tonight, leading some laps and getting up here on the podium. Congrats again on that third place. And before we let you go, who do you want to thank or shout out for this one?
Well, I'd like to shout out y'all at V Speed, Daniel and Eddie. Y'all do an amazing job up there in the booth. I'd like to shout out GLR, great league. If y'all don't know about them, check them out. Goat Locker Racing. And I'd like to shout out their sponsors, iRacing, MK Fire Design, Sim Motion, Harpoon Designs, Zach Graphics, and Cruisin Classics and Nasties, the premier sponsor of the Premier Cup Series. And like to shout out the CSM sponsors. I'd like to shout out Aerial Professionals of WNC, Gigi's Restaurant in Waynesville, North Carolina, Jake's Junk Solutions, Mountain View Detailing, and Mount Silver Supply Company, which is the main sponsor on my car, and Waynesville Tire and White Squirrel Home Services.
There you have it from our third place finisher, James Silvers. Congrats again. We will see you next week at Texas.
Well, I got to say, Daniel, that was a fun race for Bristol. It went by really quick. We had a few cautions out there. We had 5 cautions overall, but we got that race done in 45 minutes. And then, of course, we're going to go to Texas, talk about tire wear. That place will eat them up, especially in these next-gen cars.
Yeah, it's going to be a really interesting one next week, heading to Texas. Good track to set that round of 8 field. But man, whoever decided the round of 8 needed to be Talladega and North Wilkesboro moving forward, that is one diabolical individual. That is going to be a chaotic round. We're going to have these drivers fighting their way in to try to get into that round. It is shaping up for a great end of the season here.
Absolutely. Well, with that said, I think we'll close it up tonight. On behalf of myself, Daniel Cunningham, Eddie Smith on production, Dougie Beard on the cameras here tonight, and on behalf of Cruisin Classics and Goat Locker Racing, I want to thank everybody for tuning in tonight. Come back and see us next week at Texas as we're going to decide that final 8. We'll see you all here next week. Thanks for watching.